Hello, in this video, I'm going to be going over the last bit of your digital guided notes. So this is just pages 712 through 720. If you had any questions about the previous parts of the notes, then check out the video that I posted on Thursday on the calendar. At the beginning here, I wanted you to look again at the characters' motivations, this time focusing on Creon and Oedipus, who are the central characters at the end of the play. I asked you what Creon wants for Oedipus. There are two things. First of all, Creon's first instinct actually is to send Oedipus inside because he wants Oedipus away from ridicule. He doesn't want him out and in front of the people. Creon is also thinking about what Oedipus's fate should be. And Oedipus keeps asking to be exiled, but Creon doesn't want to grant that right away. He says he wants to consult the gods. He wants to see what the gods say Oedipus's fate should be. He thinks they are going to say that Oedipus should be exiled, but we don't actually find out what they say in the play. We can just assume that that's probably what's going to happen. As for what Oedipus wants for himself, like I said, he really wants to be sent away into exile, and he wants to live out the rest of his days on the hills of Cithaeron, where he was supposed to be abandoned as a baby originally. He also asks Creon to look after his children, and he does want to say goodbye to them before he leaves. For the next part here, I asked you to look at situational irony, which you do have at the end of the play here. And this is between Oedipus's expectations about how Creon will get the throne eventually and what actually happens in the play. As you might remember, in part one of the play, Oedipus thinks that Creon is going to try and take the throne by force. He expects him to try and steal it away through telling lies about Oedipus through Tiresias. So that's Oedipus's expectations. But in fact, Creon does get the throne, but not in the way that Oedipus expected. Instead, Creon actually becomes king only because of actions by Oedipus himself. Because when Oedipus discovers the truth and blinds himself, this is when Creon ends up getting the position as king. So Oedipus actually brings it on himself, even though he assumed it was something that Creon was trying to pursue earlier. And then if you had just a couple first read questions at the end here. Like we said before, Oedipus hopes to be exiled to the hills of Cithaeron. That's the fate that he wishes for himself. He worries for his children when he says goodbye to them because he thinks that they will live in shame. He thinks that they won't be accepted by the people just because of who their parents are and their history with Oedipus and Jocasta. As for that last question, it is totally up to you what you think the message of the play is, but give that some thought. But that is all. Let me know if you have any other questions about the play in general, because you're now done with it, or about these notes specifically.